Welcome to the first episode of Youthful Revolution, featuring Immortal DC, a charming club situated in the city of Albufeira, at least I think that's how you pronounce it, in Portugal, right in the heart of the region's football scene. Join me as we dive into the captivating world of Immortal DC and embark on a thrilling journey, at least I hope so, filled with youthful exuberance and footballing dreams. Our database includes the increased realism from Dave. We are starting this save on the original game mode. Active nations and league is as following. Portugal is the only playable league as this is a one club save. So yeah, the rest is on view only, based around nations in the game, with the most citizens living in Portugal as a foreigner in real. Advanced options is gonna be add players to playable teams, along with prevent use of in-game editor, though I don't even own it, but I checked it anyway. Also a few things in the custom setup just to increase the player numbers in relevant areas such as Brazil and the continental Europe. Our managerial style will be on the suggested batch based on Immortal, and also the suggested experience based on Immortal as well. And we do take the Taskmaster style of focus. Currently competing in the Campeonato de Portugal, Immortal DC has a storied past, with its pinnacle achievement being crowned champions of the Segunda Division Series South in 1998 and 99 season. This success was further highlighted by their impressive 15th place, finishing in the Liga de Honra during the 1999-2000 campaign. However, the journey hasn't always been smooth for the resilient club. Following a relegation in 2001 season, Immortal DC faced a period of decline, including financial challenges and sportsmanship withdrawals. But despite the setbacks, the club has persevered, earning promotion back to the higher tiers of Portuguese football. Estadio Municipal de Albufeira, I think that's how you pronounce it, is not owned by the club. It is owned by the council. Yes, it is. But thankfully, we do have some very good training facilities and also adequate youth facilities, which should be considered very good at this level of football. We are a small club. We are semi-professional in the 4th tier, but the finances are, well, strange. Let me explain. What is going on here? We have 1.5 million this season in profit. How? Well, if we take a look at the income, it is actually telling us that we do have a sponsorship of 1.5 million. Gate recipes is only last month here. Not a lot. And that's from friendlies, right? Not a lot, but it's there. Expenditures are mostly staff wages, yeah? And also a little bit in others, which is basically just supplies and general expenses and stuff like that. So we don't really have a lot of in and outs in terms of footballing. But where we are in terms of sponsors is insane. I don't know what is going on here, but we have some really big sponsors. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Yeah, maybe it's the same for other clubs. I have no idea. I haven't checked. But for us, this means that we are financially, at least for the next 6 years, extremely well off. Like, I mean, projection is we are rich. We're just straight up very rich. The board wants us to avoid relegation from the championship, and they also want us to be competitive in the cup, along with working within the budget and also grow our club's reputation. In terms of the league, it is a very interesting format with 4 different groups, all of them with 14 teams. Quite surprisingly, that is 5 teams going down in each group and directly relegated to the non-leagues, with a promotion group that got to play 6 games, with 2 of them going into a playoff, where it does say losing team wins promotion to the Portuguese 3rd division. I do believe it's gonna be the winner, but I'm very confused about it. But maybe we will see when we actually get to this stage in the game. We got a rather big backroom staff department, which might need to be thinned down because these wages are way too high compared to what they give us. So we are probably gonna look for thinning it out in the future. When it comes to the players, we do have 52 players in all of our squads in our club. That is quite a lot, and for the most part it's actually the youngsters taking up, or well, some of the youngsters, but also some of the old guys here, but mostly the youngsters actually taking up the wages, so that is kind of interesting. Also, I think we might want to keep some of all these old guys. Why, you might ask? Well, because we cannot go out and buy anything older than 19. And the old people tend to be of higher quality in the lower leagues. But anyone could be poaching these old guys because they are all on part-time contracts. Out of all of these players, I want to highlight Leonardo Ari, who is a winger, Bruno Torres, who is a midfielder, Williams Fadini, who is a fullback, and also worth a mention, a 30-year-old Pedro Rodriguez, who is a central defender. Along with the DNA of the club only signing 19-year-old youngsters, also a big part of this save will center around how the tactic will change from year to year, as we are prohibited from using most used formation from a current season in the following season. As an example, we got the 4-4-2 here, very standard 4-4-2, and maybe next season we would be going over to playing a 4-2-4. But that is not all, as we are also banning player roles, including any specific position from last season still in the formation. Yeah, which is right now, in this specific scenario, it would be the strikers, the midfielders, central defenders, and the fullbacks, as they are also in the 4-4-2. Now, on the other hand, the wingers here, they could be the same because they are not in the same specific position. I also want to force myself to try even more tactical or new tactical approaches by also having another rule, actually a couple of other rules. One is the most used mentality that we use in a specific season, the following season we're not allowed to use it anymore. That entire season. So like if it was balanced, we needed to not use it next season and use all the other ones instead. And then the following season after that, it would be the one that we have used the most for that season. If it makes any sense. The same goes with stuff in here. If we have like, let's see, we have underlap left, underlap right, focus through the mid and dribble this. We need to choose one of those things that we are not allowed to use next season. One of them. And that goes for all of them. Like if we had more in here, we had like slow down pace, take short kicking. We need to choose one of the green boxes and take it out next season where we are not allowed to use it. We are allowed to use the opposite. We could go take long kicks instead. Then we actually made a change. So yeah, lots of tactical changes from season to season. And with us being predicted almost last, but not quite, 45 out of 56 teams, I think we need to pull up our sleeves quite significantly to not be relegated or be near relegation this season. There's gonna be a lot of hands-on approach when it comes to training and yeah, a lot of things, except from maybe the media and a couple of other things. I am letting the staff doing some of the things, but for the most part, it's gonna be hands-on. In terms of the player DNA, as you can tell, we do have a couple of things in here. Most important is the high physical presence while we're in lower league at least, with work rate, acceleration, pace and stamina being probably the four most important. But don't sniff at the other ones, right? Agility, balance, jumping reach and natural fitness, even strength as well, is also very, very important. And secondarily, I would say that right now we are not looking very much toward getting the mentals in, but at some stage we definitely are looking at determination, anticipation, composure, concentration, and decision making as well, as we can tell out here. So someone like Pedro Rodriguez here definitely fit the profile with most of his stats in that area being in average, right? Technicals, we don't really care about them. It will be a bonus if they got them, right? It will be a bonus. We care more about the other things. Another part of the player DNA got to do with the scout and reports or assistant manager reports up here. Yes, that is also going to be very, very important for us. Any injury prone in red or orange is not acceptable at all. I don't want to see it. If we do have that, I want to get rid of that player. While players with a big match and inconsistent in the red is the same as well, we will allow those in orange. So in this case, this guy is definitely not okay because he got the injury prone. You do have an inconsistent as well, but even two of them is making me think we need to get rid of this guy at some point. We might not do it right now because we do have to have a turnover of players, but this is a guy we definitely want to get rid of in the future. Also, the personalities will be very, very important. We want to bring in players with high determination. This guy got 12 right here, which is okay, but he is balanced personality. Those personalities that we are looking for is model citizens, perfectionist, resolute, driven, determined, fairly determined, iron-willed, resilient, born leader, very loyal, unsporting, that's an interesting one, and resilient. The balanced one is the most common, and we will see this one as an okay personality to take as well, as it does not influence the group much having that personality. Though the determination is generally low here, the player could have up to 14 direct determination in that attribute, like this guy got 12, and thereby get trained out of it if they are young enough. Generally speaking, we are also looking for other personalities. If the determination is there, we can probably get rid of that personality if they're young enough. And we are bringing in young players. So maybe someone like Fagel, unambitious, it could be okay. After the culling of staff, I think it was 7 released staff members, the size is looking like this. And we are looking at the contracts and the wages right now because by far, like 90% of our expenditures are right here, basically. Though I did decide to go out and bring in 2 new faces, or well, one of them don't have a face, a Santos here, a scout, a chief scout, and also a physio with 15 physio. That is decent, but that's actually the only 2 I really needed. We have played all of the friendlies in the preseason and have developed a tactic to use for the first game of the season against Luciano Evora. It is a 4-2-4, a very strong formation in FM24, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I've also come to learn that some of these roles are definitely some of the better ones. Advanced forward on attack up top, pressing forward support, inside forward on the left on support, inside forward on attack on the right hand side, double DMs on support, fullbacks on attack, ball playing defenders on defense, and a sweeper keeper in goal on defense. In possession, we are fairly narrow in attacking with. We are passing into space, underlapping, we're focusing down both flanks actually. Shorter passing, higher tempo, runner defense. In transition, we're gonna be counter-pressing, counter-attacking, distribute quickly and roll it out. Out of possession, high press, much higher defensive line, prevent goalkeeping, much higher pressure, trigger press, get stuck in and also step up more. This might not be the final product, but I know that this tactic is gonna do well in terms of just my beliefs of how good these things are in FM24 right now. So that is where we are gonna start. And remember, next season, we need to make changes from this. So while this is maybe a really good tactic right now, and I do believe it is, it might need to quite change a lot for next season. But for this season, this might be it, with slight changes throughout the season, of course. I absolutely hate the in-game squad planner, and I felt like I wanted something to visualize squad depth and a tool to talk about our players without directly showing them, though we will also take a look at the first 11 players. But this is a program that works much like a spreadsheet, also a little bit like the squad planner inside the game, just in a sense where I feel like this is just a more intuitive way of using a squad planner, right? So here it is. This is right now our starting 11, as you can tell, in the 4-2-4 formation. Now, what this program can do is it can actually show us quite a significant amount of things. So this is probably going to be the best 11 we can push out there, which is likely going to be the players that we are also going to use today. Now, if we push this button, we can also see what the best players are secondary on the bench probably. So there is a lot to it. There is a lot to it, right? But it's very easy to understand. It is very good in my opinion. So what we can see here, and what we want to talk about while we are here, is how are our depth and where do we need new players? Where do we want to, you know, find something? Because we are sitting actually on the day of the first match here, and I haven't found a player. I have tried. So goalkeepers, we do have a decent goalkeeper in goal, that's fine. And we do also have 2 youngsters, which is fine as well. Fullback area, I think we're okay as long as the first main guy is not getting injured. Central defenders, now that is where we are lacking. As you can tell here by the stars, we definitely need some better backups there. And I am trying to find it. Fullback area on the left, again, we are probably okay as long as the main guy is not getting injured, and we do have a 25-year-old backup player who can also play further up. But yeah, it's maybe okay. Defensive midfield, that is the other area that we are lacking quite a bit. We do have decent options in the first 2 options, but right after that, it's not looking good. It's definitely not looking good with Barros and Nuno here. Not the best players in the world. All the players up here, I don't think we are gonna need anything up front on either the inside forwards or, for that matter, on the... I mean, our strikers could be better. Clearly, they could be better. But I think they're gonna be okay for this season. So yeah, this is the way I'm gonna show you the squad depth and stuff like that. But let's check out the starting 11, or the very likely starting 11 here. Starting with the goalkeeper, Lucas Teixeira here. Looks fine to me. Williams Fadini, the fullback, on the left-hand side. Fabinho on the right-hand side, also looking quite good. Gonçalves, one of the central defenders, along with his partner here, Pedro Rodriguez. Afonso Farigas is one of the midfielders, defensive midfielders that is. And his partner is gonna be Bede Opara on the left-hand side in the midfield. Diogo Pina is actually not one of the key players, but he's gonna start this first game, so that's why I'm showing him. He's gonna start on the left as an inside forward without a really good right foot, but that is what it is. On the right-hand side, we got Miranda, who is probably the best player over there. He's also gonna be starting as a inside forward. Not quite an inside forward, but I am not really afraid of using them that way. Maroukas is gonna be playing as a pressing forward. He is basically a target forward, but I'm gonna use him as a pressing forward. And the advanced forward for this specific match is gonna be this guy called Mendes. He do not have a face for some reason, and he is actually more of a winger, but I wanna start him in because of his acceleration. So, there they are, the full squad here, and we also have the bench all ready to go in this match. In terms of the opponents we are going to be up against, they are predicted 17th in the league, and looking at the next match here, we can see that they are likely going to be playing a 4-2-3 formation with 3 in the back. So there might be some space to actually exploit in behind them, and that is actually really good for us because our fullbacks are really good at exactly that. Let's take a look at the match. Yeah, exactly. We can see their fullback is pushing up, the other one is not. So very likely there's going to be room here for one of our fullbacks to exploit, because our inside forwards is making sure that their central defenders is going to be fairly narrow. As we can tell here, they are gonna play a 5-2-3 defensive mid-wide kind of formation, and they are the favorites, 2.4 favorites against us, even with us being at home. After 15 minutes play, Miranda is finding Opara, who is bringing it over to top for Pina, who is gonna find Maroukas to get a goal. After 20 minutes, I have paused the game here just to recognize what is happening. We have quite a few chances, 4 of them. We are having 0.82 in XG. Of course, that goal is one of them. We are actually not in possession. They are the team in possession, and we are taking advantage of that on the counter. As we can see over here, the average possession without the ball for us is very, very narrow. So that is how we are actually defending this. They are, whatever, right? It's whatever here. And also without the possession, or sorry, with the possession for us, we are like opening up when we are counter-attacking them. And they are fairly narrow, so that means there's gonna be space out on their flanks, and that is also what happened. Kind of interesting to see that actually 2 of our chances, 2 of those chances over here are actually on their right-hand side. I thought it would have been on the left-hand side, but hey, you can't always, maybe they're playing another player, you know, from what we saw before. Well, that's okay. 2 shots inside the box after 20. I am very happy so far. Fadini into Maroukas, Mendes, and Miranda winning a pressure here, and he's gonna score a lovely goal after 38 minutes. Half time, 2-0. We only allowed them to get 1 shot, not even on target. Yeah, we can be very, very satisfied with that first half, that's for sure. 66 minutes in, Opara finds, who is it? Miranda in the half space, yeah, and he is gonna slot it in from some passive defensive work here from the opposition. So right after that, let's pause the game here and just think about what we should do. I think 3-0 up, we should probably put some fresh legs on. They have also dropped a little bit deeper now, the opposition, and they don't really look likely to ever be scoring a goal. And even so, I would probably still put on a few extra legs. Well, or new legs. Let's go into the tactics up here. I think what we're gonna do is probably gonna put Nuno in here instead of Opara, and let Opara have a bit of a rest because he's not really that fit. Same with Maroukas here, he's not that fit. but maybe Pienaar instead on 69 in fair. You know what? I think we're gonna take Pienaar off for Torres here. And Torres is, as you can tell here, by this pros and cons kind of thing you can see when I'm pulling it, he's actually quite good. He's actually, he got a lot of things going for him. But he's gonna be playing as an advanced playmaker in there on support. So does that change anything in terms of how we wanna go about this? I do believe we got 5 subs actually. I haven't tested it and I forgot if that actually is the case, but I do believe we have 5 subs. I think we're gonna make one more here. What I'm thinking is actually letting him stay out there and actually take Fadini out as well for Silver, who is not really a fullback. He's actually more of an inverted fullback, I would say. So maybe we let him go a little bit more defensive and still let Fabinho just rampage down the right hand side here and let the advanced playmaker take control of the game, hopefully. I think that's about it. 80th minute, and not a lot happened actually. We had 1 or 2 more big chances, so I think it's safe to say that we can make a couple more subs here. Fabinho, I think I just want to save a bit of condition on him. I don't even... Ari, yeah, Ari, he could come in and play there. It's not really important. He's not much of a fullback. He's probably more of a complete fullback actually, a complete wingback. Let's just do that because we are already so much in control. Mendes, I think we could bring Mendes out. He's not been too good actually on that advanced forward role. I think we're just gonna put him out of his misery and put Junior in. Junior was probably the first choice before him. So let's just make sure that he's coming in and get a little bit of play time. So there it is. All 5's done. And let's see if we get another goal here. No was the answer to that question. That was not even a highlight. So there it is. 3-0 victory. Double goal scoring Miranda. Absolutely brilliant there. He did really well. I think Mauro Cas for me probably was the best player on the pitch. He did a lot of work as a target forward, or pressing forward actually. That was excellent. Very, very good game to start off this season with, and that was not an easy opponent either, so we can be extremely satisfied with this. So there it is. We are off to a good start, and normally I would do 3 matches in the same episode as I just did, with goals and some tactical stuff. Well, if there is any changes, of course. But since this is the premiere, I think we will keep it at 1, and then next time I will come back somewhere down here. It all depends on what 3 matches I think will be sort of interesting and also maybe important matches. We are coming to an end here on the club page, and I hope you have really enjoyed this episode. Of course, I will see you in the next one.